Imagine moving through life with more softness, more trust, more self-respect. The 21 Feminine Principles was created for the woman who is ready to release struggle and reconnect with her natural feminine energy. Inside, you'll learn how to soften without losing your strength, how to feel confident without force, and how to honor yourself in the way you love, relate, and live. As you embody these principles, you'll feel lighter, calmer, and more radiant, comfortable in your skin, grounded in your worth, and deeply aligned with who you truly are. If you're ready to feel good being you again, the 21 Feminine Principles ebook is waiting for you today. Use my pillar link at the description in my bio to get your copy of the 21 Feminine Principles, rules every feminine woman should live by today.
Good morning. All right, I just wanted to jump on really quickly. I'm dropping one of my daughters off, and now I got to go pick up the other one and drop her off. But I just wanted to make this quick video because I've only got probably about 15 minutes. That's probably all it's going to take for me to talk about it. But one of the greatest pieces of advice I have for modern day people who are out here dating or trying to date and trying to find their person is to avoid the dopamine addicted person. So I thought about making this video for men, but it really applies to women as well. Like, it really applies to men and women. We are living in a time that, unfortunately, I'd say it really got bad the last 25 years. The last 25 years, we're living in a time where, attention is currency, and people's ability to pay attention, people's ability to really lock in and pay attention and be present is at an all-time low. People really, really struggle with that. And, the brain rot, you've heard about that, this new diagnosis called the brain rot, where basically your dopamine receptors are fried. And it's because of all the technology, the gaming, the pornography, like all of the cheap dopamine has people's brains completely rewired. And the reason why that is so dangerous is that now people can't do normal, regular things and feel good, right? They can't feel good. They can't feel anything. Like, I've heard so many videos where women have said, I go out with all these men and I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. I feel numb. I don't feel the spark. And it's the dopamine receptors. Your dopamine receptors are fried. I kid you not. It's the constant scrolling on your phone. It's the constant scrolling on Instagram. It is video game playing. Sorry, guys, but yeah, it's the playing of video games. And I don't mean here or there, right? Let me not throw every man under the bus. I don't mean here or there video game playing. And y'all know what I mean. Y'all know that guys who go home every single night and play video games for a few hours, that's what I mean. Consistent, lengthy video game playing, that's what I mean. Like daily video game playing, that's what I mean. I don't mean here or there. Same with social media. I get 1 hour a day on social media to either create content or to post content. That's it. Like, I get 1 hour a day. And there are days where I don't go on. It's rare, but there are days where I don't go on. I don't have time to make content, or I don't have time to post anything, and it just is what it is. But those two things, pornography, again, I don't promote people watching pornography at all. I would assume that men who watch it here or there, it's probably not as bad as you watching it every day. Consistent watching pornography can't be good. But a lot of these things, that are cheap dopamine, it is literally rewiring our brains as humans and causing all kinds of problems. So here are some things you can do. Here's some guidelines you can have and some things you can do to help you to find someone. So these are things for you. So if I'm talking about you, then I want you to do these things. I need you to start doing these things. But I also want you to find another person who is doing these things as well, right? Because that's how we're going to wake up those synapses in our brain that says, okay, I can be in the presence of a human. Because what's the latest tech that's literally very, very quickly starting to destroy humans is AI. Now you've got a very small percentage, but that percentage is going to grow. Now you got a small percentage of humans utilizing AI as AI boyfriend and AI girlfriend and AI sex bot. That percentage is going to grow. And the truth of the matter is, it's going to make it so that people can't be with humans. People can't be with humans if they keep engaging AI boyfriend and AI girlfriend. You are destroying the receptors in your brain. So here are some tips that I do give to people, excuse me, so that they can hopefully restructure their brain and hopefully find someone else whose brain isn't fried. Here are some of the tips that I give them. So number one, getting outside every day, letting the sun hit your eyes every day, preferably first thing in the morning. The sun is not out yet. It is technically sunrise, but there's no direct sun. But getting outside, taking a walk, sitting outside, you don't even have to move around if you don't want, but first thing in the morning, opening up all your blinds, keeping your blinds open throughout the day until dusk, and getting outside and letting the sun get into your eyes. I also want you to limit your video game playing, limit your social media, limit how you engage with AI. Do not engage with AI romantically. I want you to even limit engaging with AI for other reasons, like limit your engagement with AI. I want you to start having conversations with humans again, not romantic conversations, any conversation. Start having brief conversations, brief interactions with humans. But if I'm being honest, I prefer people that don't have any social media. That's my preference. If you do have it, I would prefer that you barely or rarely post to it. And again, you're not on it very often. So you have limited use of social media, even limited use of YouTube. I know a lot of guys, they don't post to Instagram or Facebook, or they don't, really look at Instagram or Facebook, but they do watch a lot of YouTube videos. And I would say, again, limited use of YouTube, limited use of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I would prefer someone not utilize TikTok at all. TikTok has been proven to be one of the most addictive social media platforms. So no TikTok in my perfect world. Limited use of the other platforms. Facebook is like a dinosaur now. So yeah, a lot of older men do have Facebook because they got it, years ago, like me. I think I got it in 2006. So sure, and a lot of older people use it and keep up with their family and all of that. So Facebook is like a dinosaur. But get out into the world, have conversations with people, get into nature. I have a lot of female clients that say they don't like being outside, they don't like nature, they don't like grass, trees, bugs, etc. But you need to be in the tactile world. You need to be in the world and touch things and ground yourself. I know this is, a lot of Black people are not going to like this. Take your socks and shoes off, walk in the grass, make sure it's clean grass. It doesn't have dog poop or whatever. But You need to live in a tactile world. You need to engage your five senses. That's why, I always like to go outside. I walk on my grass barefoot. I pinch some of it off. I smell it. I love the smell of dirt. I love the smell of dirt. Like, that's why I'm a gardener. But I love the smell of dirt. I love the smell of flowers, certain herbs. But get out into the world and start engaging your five senses. That's how you're going to heal your brain. You're going to heal those dopamine receptors by, one, you're not going to keep feeding them. You're going to start starving them of cheap dopamine. So here's a great analogy. So recently I got put on a new plan because I need to lose about 10 pounds. And I want to do it before the cruise that I'm going on in May. So I need to lose 10 pounds. And I was recently put on a plan, and the nutritionist said, "Oh, you're eating keto, but it's a lot of dirty keto." And I was like, "Okay, I've heard this phrase before," but she's like, "You're eating a lot of dirty keto. I want you to start eating clean keto." So clean sources of protein, organic, grass-fed protein, not just bacon or ham hocks, whatever. She was like, "You're eating a lot of dirty keto, but I want you to eat more clean keto." And so that's what I have converted over to, is just, and I love bacon, y'all. I really do, but I know I got to cut back on the bacon. I love bacon. I love sausage. I love all parts of the pig. I love all parts of the cow. I love all parts of the chicken. But she's like, "We got to make it more clean. I want you to start eating clean." And I was like, okay. So that's what we're doing with dopamine. There is cheap dopamine, right? That is literally hitting those dopamine receptors, but like thousands and thousands of that. Like, no, you need about 10. You're getting dopamine, but at 10, not at 1,000. You're getting it at 10. And you're going to, do other clean dopamine activities. You're going to look at the squirrels and look at the trees and look at the grass, and you're going to touch things and you're going to smell things, and you're going to listen. You're going to listen to nature. And, that is how you're going to heal your brain. But I also want you to look for other people that are doing this too. Okay? Because if you are dopamine addicted and you're getting with another dopamine addicted person, like, here's the truth of the matter. Because it's so cheap, right? Because it's so cheap and it comes in such abundance, you are going to eventually get bored. You're going to burn out and get bored, and you and that person are going to go about y'all's business. So that's what I see happening. I see a lot of relationships that start really hot, and for about 3 months, it's just like a bonfire. It's like a bonfire. It starts really hot, and then after 3, 4, 5 months, it's over. I've had plenty of clients that they're telling me 3 to 6 months, that's all you get. And it's because you're dopamine addicted and you're choosing someone who's dopamine addicted. That is how dopamine works, especially the cheap stuff. It's not built to last. It's not built to last a lifetime. It's not built to last 25 years in a marriage. Okay, so here's another example. One of the things I often tell men is, see who a woman is on a Tuesday, right? See who the woman is on a Tuesday night after work. You go over to her place or she comes over to yours. You have a meal. You may watch a show. You may just talk. You may play a game. Who is that person? Because if we're being honest, if you have any plans of having anything long term, that's who you need to see. That's who you need to know. That's who you need to like. And the honest to God truth is, a lot of y'all don't like that person. Same for the women. I'm going to tell the women the same thing. You don't like that guy. You don't like Tuesday night guy. You don't like Friday night guy or Thursday night guy, Sunday morning guy. You don't like him. If he is not taking you out, if he is not buying you something, if y'all are not going to the club, going to the bar, going to wherever y'all like to, all these trips and all that stuff, You don't like him. That's the truth of the matter. And your dopamine addicted brain says that if I'm not being constantly entertained, if I'm not being constant, like if my dopamine receptors are not firing every minute of the day, and we know women are prone to this. We know women get bored. Women are really guilty of this, but men are catching up fast. Men are catching up so fast, and it's because of porn and video games. Like, a lot of you all can't even get an erection to a normal woman's naked body. You can't even look at a real life woman that's standing in the room with you and she's taking off all her clothes, and there's a strong possibility that you're going to get it in, and y'all can't even get an erection. You can't even get an erection looking at a real life naked woman's body, because porn has destroyed your normal, healthy dopamine receptors. And guess what your brain say when this woman take off her clothes, or it's like, so? That's what your brain says. And then your brain sends that signal down to your penis. So what? I've seen a million pairs of titties. I've seen a million behinds. I've seen a million, vajayjays. I've seen a million. Okay. So what? Like, that's what your brain does. And this is happening to people in their 20s. That's what, to me, is like the worst part. You're in your 20s doing this. You're in your 20s and your penis will not get erect when a normal girl with a normal body takes her clothes off. That's crazy. All right, I'm parked. I'm gonna look at your comments here. Okay. Crow Pleaser says, unfortunately, I'm diagnosed with ADHD, and yes, I've fallen down the trap a little bit with cheap dopamine. I also have ADHD, and I have had it probably all of my life. I'm 58. I got diagnosed with it when I was 53, and they tried to put me on medication. I've told this story before. They tried to put me on medication. I think I tried it for all of a week, and then I said, hey, if I was able to live 53 years without taking this, I probably could go ahead and live the rest of my life without taking this. And that's exactly what I decided to do, because you need to develop hacks. You need to develop workarounds. You need to be disciplined and focused, right? There's boundaries you need to put in place, guardrails you need to put in place. That's what we're not teaching people with ADHD. We're, again, like everything else in the world, we just want to medicate them and voila, give them that pill. That's the magic pill. No, thank you. I can actually teach you skills, executive skills that can make your life successful. Okay. I'm a somewhat successful person with ADHD. I've acquired things in life, and I've educated myself, and I own 2 businesses, and I've done it all without being put on a pill. So you just have to be smart enough to get you a good mentor, work on your executive functioning, and you have to be very disciplined. You have to cut out the cheap dopamine. You have to start getting clean dopamine. Dopamine that you had to earn, not just picking up your phone and clicking on a video. You had to earn that dopamine. Okay? Clarissa, this is my experience with the men these days. It's like they all have ADHD or they forget easily. Yep. It's not that, it's dopamine. And how about this? I'm going to say something kind of controversial. I don't think as many people today have ADHD as they think. I think is that their dopamine receptors are fried. I think that if they went on a serious detox, a dopamine detox, I think their brain would heal and they would start functioning normally again. That's just my theory. I don't have any data. I don't have any facts. That's just my theory as a critically thinking person. I didn't develop ADHD in the digital era. I had it when I was 12 years old. Okay, so I had it at 12, 11, and that's when I said, okay, I'm going to get very organized. I'm going to make sure everything has its place. I did that at 12. I recognized, my brain doesn't work well when there's clutter, when things are scattered, when I don't have systems. I recognize that at 12 years old. And from that day, that's when I started to create these systems. Even my mom noticed it. She's like, well, why does this have to go here? And why does this have to be? I was like, Mom, don't touch that. That has to go there. This has to go here. Like, I had a little system. That was my hack. That was my hack. And then I also, in college, I made it through college by consuming Mountain Dew. Whenever I had to take a test, whenever I had to write a paper, people who have ADHD, true ADHD, they respond well to caffeine. Caffeine is it's a stimulant, right? And it's just like Ritalin or any other stimulant. We respond well to caffeine. So that gives us a level of superior focus. So yes, I did utilize caffeine, but yeah, I think it's our dopamine receptors are fried. I don't think half the people that claim they have ADHD have ADHD. I don't. That's just like half the people out here now, half the adults, they're self-diagnosing themselves with autism. They don't have no autism. They don't have no autism. And I feel a way about that because I have a daughter with autism. And again, she was diagnosed at 2 years old and she's 26. These people don't have no autism. It pisses me off when I see all of these grown, adults on these videos. Oh, I have, and now they put together ADHD and autism. And what do they call it? Is it called odd something? Whatever. They put together autism and ADHD. ADHD, that's what they call it. They piss me off. They piss me off because we're living in a generation full of people that just want something to be wrong with them. Why would you want it? Why would you want to have autism? Why would you want to have ADHD? It is what it is for me, but it's definitely not something I would just pluck out of a book and start labeling myself with. That don't make no sense to me. But luckily it's not crazy. I spend my time researching random stuff, but I'll doom scroll from time to time. Yeah, like I said. But that's not helping. Just understand that's not helping. Thank you, Garland Stillwell, for buying a badge this morning. I appreciate you. DK Polyglot says, I do grounding in a park near my apartment. Every once in a while, I'm going to up it once a week. Yeah, please do. Please do. Touch earth. Touch nature. Tactile. Smell it. Not only should your feet touch it, pinch a little dirt or grass off and smell it. Right? Like, for real. Listen when you're out there. Listen to the sounds of nature. That's how you heal your brain. I could drop everybody off in the woods for a week and it's like the world would turn technicolor, right? You drop people off. They don't have their phone. No, it's like the world becomes technicolor in 1 week because you're healing your brain. Garland Stillwell says the science of touching trees. Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winning physicist. Yep. Trees absorb negative energy. There's a reason why God created the earth the way he did. Isn't it interesting that plants give off what we need and we give off what plants need? Beautiful symbiotic. Beautiful. Okay, but God in his all-knowing wisdom that created everything so perfectly. Magenta Smile says low iron hinders dopamine production, so we ladies need to stay up on top of that. Okay. Crowd Pleaser says, luckily my mom was totally against ADHD and I'm somewhat successful as well. There you go. There you go. What they got to do with nothing? What they got to do with anything? Y'all, sometimes, like, can I keep it real? Sometimes you need people or a parent to be like, so, because I'm going to be honest with you. My 26-year-old daughter, now here's the balance. I didn't say, oh, she doesn't have autism. Oh, there's nothing wrong. I didn't lie to myself, but I also said so. I was like, so what? Okay, you have autism. Okay, here are some limitations. Okay, here are some hacks we can use. Here's some workarounds. Here's how we can, like, that's what I did. I wasn't in complete denial of it. Her dad is in complete denial of it. I wasn't. I knew that something was different about her. But I also said, okay, let's develop some workarounds. Let's develop some things that can help her to have more focus, to work on her executive functioning skills. And that's why she's 26 today. She works, she volunteers, and she's able to order her Uber or Lyft for transportation. She's able to do a whole lot of things. It's because I didn't see it as some sort of oh, you can't do anything. You can't, I need to coddle you and you can't do anything. No, you can do a whole lot. And at one point, I remember when my oldest daughter was like 11 or 12, she was getting off the bus by herself. She was coming into the house by herself. Yeah, she was staying an hour or so at home by herself, and then I would get home. But I was like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I have ADHD and got diagnosed back in 1996. It runs in my family. Interesting. So it wasn't called that back then. It was called autism and ADHD. So that is what I assume you got diagnosed with, right? You got diagnosed with being on the autism spectrum, or you got diagnosed with Asperger's. Asperger's existed back then. And you found out you had ADHD. Okay, Crowd Pleaser says, I was diagnosed in the 4th grade. My mom had it as well. Samuel Alford says, I legitimately have ADHD, don't get diagnosed until my late 30s. I didn't want it for years. I denied it for a long time, but had to concede to get help and be more productive. Okay. For me, I look at labels as just society's way to categorize stuff. I never let my ADHD and autism be an excuse for failure. You shouldn't, because like I said, I believe everybody's put here for a purpose, regardless of whatever, quote, disability or limitation that they have. So yeah, you shouldn't. Like, there's a guy out there who's a public speaker who has no arms and no legs. And he's making millions of dollars. He's married. He has 2 kids. Like, yeah, when people start talking to me about all the stuff they can't do, I'm like, stop. Just stop. I avoid foods that agitate my symptoms. I'd be curious to know what that is, though. What foods agitate your symptoms? I'd be curious about that. Healing my brain, I'm starting that. Thanks for the reminder and notes about going outside and healing. Yeah, I'd be curious about that. In junior high, teachers told my parents I'd be lucky to be a janitor when I grow up, but now I'm fluent in 4 languages, self-taught, and work in IT and done it overseas in foreign language environments. That's impressive. That's impressive. Wow. That's the white Australian guy. Yeah. So like I said, y'all, when people be talking that crap, I'd be like, hey, you know you need to quit. If this dude can have a whole life, and look, he got a wife and 2 kids, and some of y'all can't even get a girlfriend, and he ain't got no arms and no legs. So like, come on now. Sammy Offer says, my grandmother said to another family member, you might be crazy, but you ain't that damn crazy. Yeah, come on now. Come on. So avoid these people, right? Avoid these people who've fallen down the rabbit hole. And here's the sad part. It's a lot of people. It's most people. Most people have fallen down the rabbit hole. They really have. They are addicted to cheap dopamine. They are addicted to propaganda. They are addicted to lies. They run a narrative that they've been fed for years. You can't talk to them. You can't have any kind of rational conversation. Just avoid them. Just like, what do we say to men? Stop dating liberal women. Stop dating these left-leaning, DEI, liberal women, feminist women. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. So stop it. And to the women, when you heal your dopamine addicted brain, you can actually, this is how you're going to know you like somebody. You actually going to be driving in the car to either go to the restaurant or go out to do something, or you're just driving, you're on a Target, and you can be silent. You can be silent in a car with another person. You can be silent at home with another person. That's how you know we have something real. Like when you don't have to talk all the time, when you don't have to find things to say. But I keep telling people, you keeping this performative, that's why I don't, y'all. I'm, and like I said, I run off the dopamine addicted people real quick. I do. I refuse to be a 3-ring circus for you, right? I refuse to spin plates and be juggling and all. I refuse. I talk when you talk, I ask questions and you answer, you ask questions and I answer, but there's times where nothing is said and I don't feel the silence. I am really good at not filling the silence. I'm really good at that. That's one of the therapeutic skills I had to learn to be a good therapist, is that sometimes the moment does not require words. You're just sitting there, feeling each other's energy, looking at body language. But if you can't do that, you have a dopamine problem, right? If you feel bored, oh, we're not going out. We're not doing anything. We're not taking a trip. We're not driving out of state. We're not like that. It's not real. You can't maintain that for 20 years. You can't maintain that for 30 years. You're going to get bored. You're going to say, well, this person must not be my person. I don't feel the spark. I don't feel butterflies. I don't feel excited. This person must not be the one. That's what you're going to do. And I've seen it happen on both sides. I've seen it happen to men. I've seen it happen to women. There have been guys that I dated that I was like, yeah, we're just going to chill out at the house. I'm going to watch a movie. And look, y'all, one guy, I was at his place. We were watching some movie. I fell clean asleep and he was beyond annoyed. He was beyond annoyed because I fell asleep. Because I fell asleep. And you know what that meant? That, oh, you're not up. You're not talking to me. You're not entertaining me. You're not keeping me entertained. How dare you be in here tired and fall asleep while we're watching the movie? I was like, wow, this is not going to work out. Like, this isn't going to work out. Because I was genuinely exhausted. Like, I had the longest week ever. And I came over, I cooked something. I was like, yeah, you want to watch something? Sure. And yeah, I fell asleep. And if anything, he should have been honored that I felt comfortable enough to fall asleep. Like, I felt comfortable enough in your presence to fall asleep. That's actually a really good thing. But he didn't see it that way. Oh my God, I'm not being entertained. You're not up. You're not talking to me. I'm just like, yeah, this is going nowhere. I was like, this is going absolutely nowhere. Yep, I said the same thing, Sammy offered. He said it should have been a compliment that you were that comfortable to go to sleep. Yeah, that's what I thought. But because I wasn't putting on a performative show, I wasn't keeping him entertained and talking to him at every minute, I knew right then. Like I said, I don't perform. I really don't. I don't perform. I run off these dopamine addicted people because I'm not going to talk every minute of the day. I'm not going to have something to say witty. And look, this particular guy, he was familiar with my content. So that's what he expected, right? He expected the video me to show up in his living room. He expected me to always have something funny to say, always have commentary, always be. I was like, sir, that's a persona. Right? That's a persona. That's online. Okay? That's on my YouTube channel. I'm a whole person. I'm a whole 3, 5, 7-dimensional person. And now you're seeing other parts of me, other parts of who I am. You're getting to know the whole person. And I would consider yourself lucky because there's thousands upon thousands of people online that never actually get to be in a room with me. They never actually get to taste my cooking. They never actually get to interact with me in person. And here you are getting to do that, getting to know the whole part of me. And you're like, oh, this is boring. Oh, I did. Like another time we were out and I wasn't saying anything. I was just enjoying the vibe. You know, you're more quiet than I thought. You're more quiet than I thought. You know, I thought you were extroverted. I was like, no, quite the opposite. He was like, one would never know that looking at your videos. Like, you seem very extroverted. I said, I'm not shy. I'm not a shy person. I can walk up to anybody and start conversation. I'm a very confident person. But no, I am a very introverted person. I don't need to be talking all the time. I get drained by being around other people. And I like a lot of alone time. I like to actually be quiet so I can hear my thoughts sometimes. And, oh, I didn't expect that. Oh. I was like, this is going nowhere. Like I said, after that incident with me, I was like, this is going nowhere. This is going nowhere. It's going nowhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He said if you're comfortable enough to fall asleep in his presence, he should be happy and relaxed, not a dopamine addicted person. They're not. Samuel Alford said, I think a lot of people walk around with unprocessed grief, so they look for diagnose a community as the price of admission, human connection. They use self-pity as a license for self-love. That's you're onto something. Okay. Yeah. It sounds like dopamine addicted people want their life to be like a 3D entertainment show or something. Yeah, they really do. So just be aware that you can't have a truly real, connected, long-term, right? Dopamine is the initial meeting, but we're not meant to stay in that state. We're meant to move into oxytocin. We're meant to move into serotonin. We're meant to move into vasopressin, right? We're meant to move through these other hormones, these other like love drugs. That is how bonding happens. That's how we attach to people. But people who are dopamine addicted, they can't do that. They're stuck in that initial stage constantly. They don't know how to move past. The hard conversations create serotonin. Solving problems creates vasopressin. Cuddling and physical touch creates oxytocin. See, they don't know how to move past the dopamine. And 3 to 6 months, that's all you get. And now women, because we primarily run on oxytocin and serotonin because of our talking, it's like they're just burnt out, right? They're trying to start these relationships with men. They last 3 to 6 months. Then they try again. Then they try again. Then they try again. And they're just like, I can't get the oxytocin I need. I can't get the serotonin I need. Like women today are starved of those hormones. They are starved of oxytocin. I think that's why women are acting out. I think that's why women are becoming more violent. They're starting to act out. They're behaving badly. I really do. I think they are starved of the necessary hormones to have long-term friendships, long-term family relationships, long-term romantic relationships. They are starved. Samuel Alford says some people can have an extroverted gift with an introverted personality type. Maybe that's me then. As an activist, community leader, and poet in my city, I've had people want my persona and not always my person. Only a few, but it still was striking. I'm a loud poet as well. Yeah. So just be mindful. Just be mindful. Avoid the dopamine addicted person because, it won't last. It won't last. And that relationship I'm speaking of, 6 months. 6 months to the day. That's what I got. And I was just like, yeah, never again. So that's when I decided that I'm going to be my most boringest self. Like that relationship woke me up to, I need to be more boring. Like I need to be more boring. I need to avoid people with social media and on social media and have a social media presence. Like, yeah, that relationship was a gift because it definitely taught me what I don't want. Someone who has on social media all the time, posting all the time, has a presence all the, I don't want that. Has several social media accounts. Yeah, I don't want that. Okay. And doing something and going somewhere all the time. No, I just like, oh yeah, meet me at the dog park. Oh yeah, meet me at Target. Oh yeah, meet me at the mall. Like I kid y'all not. I let men plan dates, but if they ever say, well, I know I picked the place last time. Anything you want to do? I need to run to Target. Like I kid you not. I kid you not. And I encourage men to do the same. I really do. You are going to run off all the gold diggers. You're going to run off all the dopamine addicted chicks. You're going to run off all the Instagram baddies. You're going to run off all the women that don't mean you no good. Easy peasy. Yeah, I got to run to Target. I got to run to the post office. I got to run the DMV. Ooh, you want to test your love? You want to test someone's genuine interest in you? Tell them to meet you at the DMV. Tell them you lost your license and you got to go to the DMV. That's how you going to know if a chick really rock with you. If she really love you, she really want to be with you, that's going to test it. And what you going to do? You're going to get your number. You're going to sit down. Y'all going to talk. That's it. You're going to talk. You're going to actually, communicate with one another and get to know one another while you wait. But that's real. That's real life. It's like y'all don't want to live in real life anymore. People are so dopamine addicted, they want to live online. They want to live in video games. They want to live in AI and all this other stupid stuff. That don't make no sense to me. You're a human being having a human experience down here in this earth suit. So that's my advice. That's my advice when a man says, oh, I planned a couple dates. What are you interested in? It's always something boring as hell. It really is. Because I need to know. I need to know if you need me to entertain you every second of the day. If you need that, I am not the one for you. I'm not. If I'm in the middle of editing videos and I say, yeah, we'll watch something in a minute. Let me go upstairs and get these videos done. Let me upload something. I was in the middle of working on something. Just give me 30 minutes. Your little behind is going to sit right downstairs and you are going to entertain yourself. Okay. And if you feel a way about that, we're not a good fit. We are not a good fit. I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm not. So, yeah, I got stuff to do. I got stuff that makes money. I got stuff that brings me joy. I got stuff that's part of my mission and my purpose. And can I really be real? God didn't put me down here to be your source of entertainment. Can we be real? God did not put me on this earth to be your source of entertainment. And gentlemen, you need to feel the same way. That your purpose and the meaning of your life is not to entertain some woman. You need to seriously say that out loud. God didn't put me down here to entertain you, right? And if she don't like it, oh my gosh, oh, you don't like me, blah, blah, okay, bye. Like, dang, if I could give men any one thing, it would be the power to just, okay, okay, I want to alleviate your fear of somebody not liking you, not wanting to be with you. I really do wish I could give you that. I really do. Like, come on. That you got to twist yourself around to entertain her. No. I wish men would just drop the fear of either being rejected or of her leaving. Like, I really wish y'all could just let it alone. Trust me, you would save yourself so much heartache if you stop worrying about what these women think and what they do. You really would. For real. Women are starved of home walls of dopamine addicted women. Repeat the hormones again and their function, please. He said DMD, I like it. So dopamine is just the initial grabbing your interest, right? So it's, oh, what's that? Oh, okay. Let me see what's over there. Like, that's your dopamine, right? But we can't last in that forever because familiarity breeds contempt, remember? So we're going to get to know that person. We're going to get to know the sight of them, the smell of them, the sound of them, the touch of them, the taste of them. It's going to become second knowledge. So we can't stay in dopamine forever. The second one is oxytocin, which is primarily in women. That's our main hormone, which is physical touch, eye contact. Yes, it's having sex, but it's also cuddling. It could be cuddling your child, breastfeeding. It could be cuddling your animal, right? I get a lot of oxytocin from touching my plants and touching dirt. That brings me a lot of good feelings. Smelling the dirt, touching my plants, it gives me a lot of oxytocin. I feel so good once I've been in the garden. Next one is serotonin. We get that from calm experiences and talking, connecting through talking, connecting through doing things together like recreational companionship. We get a lot of serotonin. Vasopressin, which is predominantly in men, they get that through being productive, through being needed, solving problems, going through hard things together. That's why men who've been in the military and they belong to an infantry or a certain group, they are bonded for life because they've gone through this horrific event together. They all made it out alive. They are bonded to those men for life. And that is vasopressin. Okay. And then there's another one that starts with a P that's hard for me to pronounce. That is similar to dopamine, where it's that rush, that what we call limerence, right? That's one of the things that is made up. Limerence is made up of that and dopamine, right? It's that just that limerent feeling of you don't know anything about the person, but oh, I'm having all these feelings of love. It's not love, it's limerence. So we need all of those. We need all of those. We can't just survive on dopamine. And the truth is, we're not surviving. That's why relationships are dying after 3 to 6 months. Once dopamine is gone, people, they truly believe, like, this isn't my person. This isn't real. This isn't love. This isn't my person. I need to go off and find someone new. And then that dopamine hits again and they believe, yeah, this is my person. And then they do it all again, 3 to 6 months, 9 months, and it's over. So, DK Polyglot says, when I lived in Japan, I quit dating Japanese women because a lot of the ones I met needed too much entertainment and it was draining for me. So I cut it off. Wow. I'm not surprised though. I think over in Japan, their tech problem is worse than ours. This is a good breakdown. Thank you. Okay. So I introduce oxytocin and serotonin and, I introduce vasopressin. I introduce that early. That's why I go to men with my problems. I say, hey, this is broken, or hey, my car is acting funny, or hey, I need to find this. Like, I go to them early with my problems. And they solve my problems, and that makes them feel invested in me. They're like, wow, that felt really good. Anita came to me with a problem. I solved her problem, and I feel needed. I feel wanted, and it feels really good. And I continue to do that. And then they feel invested in me. They're like, yeah, I am investing in Anita. See, it makes it real. It's not just me entertaining them. It's not just me having sex with them and, touching them all over their body. It's giving them a purpose. It's giving them a purpose and a reason for what we're doing. So that's why I always tell women, like, stop venting to men, vent to your girlfriends, go to men with your problems and let those men solve those problems. Right? Let a man invest in you, not just financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, right? Spiritually. Let him invest in you in other ways. And that brings out those other hormones. Like, okay, she doesn't just look good. I actually feel really good in her presence. I actually feel needed and wanted, and I feel productive. I feel purposeful in her presence. It's not just about her looking good. Okay? So this is my biggest piece of advice. That's why I don't like the apps. I do know people use the apps, but what I do is I put boundaries around the apps. You're only allowed to be on them for 30 minutes a day to check your messages, maybe to swipe a little. 30 minutes. I don't even allow people an hour a day on apps because, again, it's just gamified, dopamine addicted. Yeah, you're just getting more and more and more of the bad stuff you don't need. But they are allowed to go out. They are allowed to meet people in person. They are allowed to be in the grocery store and ask a man to pick up something for them or get something from the top shelf, or, hey, I'm thinking about buying this soup. Have you had this soup before? Yeah, you're allowed to do that all day long. But the dating apps, no. The video games, no. I put boundaries around that. I put boundaries around social media. I don't even like TikTok, but if you have to have it 1 hour a day, you are not allowed to, endlessly scroll on these things because they're burning your dopamine receptors. You can't even get true joy from being in the presence of other humans. And AI, no. I think I use AI like twice a month. Twice a month, I get ideas from AI and I flush them out in my own brain. The other thing I love to do, and I strongly encourage that people do, is write. Write with a pen or a pencil on paper. Do y'all know that every single day I write? longhand. I write with a pen and paper. Half of the stuff I write gets thrown out or it gets put in a folder that's just called random thoughts. But that is why I'm able to experience joy, to decipher. That helps my discernment. That's another thing. Let me just speak on this and then I got to go. A lot of you all have zero discernment because you're dopamine addicted. Your dopamine receptors are fried. You can't tell within a few hours a good person from a bad person. It's because your dopamine receptors are fried. How many times do women say, how do you know a good man from a bad man? How do you know when a man means you know no good? Because you need to write on paper. You need to cut out all the social media. You need to heal your dopamine addicted brain. That's why these love bombing men, these men who are saying all this crap to you over the phone and you think it's real, these future faking men, that's why you fall for it, because your brain is addicted to that crap. Men be talking and I'll be like, uh-huh. Look, and you can always tell a love bomber, a future faker, when I don't give them the, oh, really? When I don't do that, when my face just be like, oh, yeah, okay. They're like, wow, I'm really not getting back what I'm putting out. I'm like, no, because it's not landing. Whatever it is you saying is not landing. See? And they can tell, like, oh, this ain't working on Anita. Like me lying to her about she's my future wife and we gonna go off and build a tiny home village together and we gonna do this and bro, I just met you. See, when I don't give them back what they putting out, they're like, oh, this ain't working. The love bombing ain't working. The calling and the flowers and the this and the that ain't working. No, it's not, because I don't have a dopamine addicted brain. And ladies, that's why what is the number, can I be honest, fellas? The number one thing that women tell me about their dating life today, about why they find themselves in these horrible relationships or these horrible situationships or these horrible situations with men, guess what they say? Well, Anita, men pretend. Men pretend, and you keep saying choose better. You keep saying discernment. You keep saying, but see, men pretend. No, they don't. You are dopamine addicted, sweetheart. Your dopamine addicted brain thinks that the things men out here are saying is real. It's not them, it's you. It's your lack of discernment. It's your dopamine addicted brain loving the fact that I have not been touched in years. I have not been held. I have not had my hand held. I have not looked into a man's eyes for more than 3 seconds. It's your dopamine addicted brain. It's eating up what he's telling you, all the lies and all the future faking and all the love bombing. You're eating it up because you are starved of the real hormones that you need. Oxytocin, serotonin, vasopressin. You are starved of the real hormones. And your dopamine addicted brain believes every single word that comes out of his mouth. And then when it's a lie, when it's not true, when you find out the truth, he changed. He changed, Anita. These men change. They lie. They pretend to be something they're not. Of course they do. But because you are dopamine addicted, you can't see through it, sweetheart. I am reading the book, The Moral Animal. I'm actually listening to it on Audible. And 16 hours, y'all. This book is 16 hours long. I just finished a chapter and I laughed out loud. I was in the shower when Audible was playing the book. One of the things that the book said, it said, what men need to understand is they have to have like this magical power to, fake the funk, basically. Put on a front, fake the funk, give women what they want, pretend to be what it is women say they want. That's a man's job in this evolutionary game. He said, but it's a woman's job to know what is real and what isn't. And that's where most women fail. And he is exactly right. It is a woman's job to be able to differentiate between the genuine men and the men who are not genuine. That is a woman's job. It's her job to know the real gold from the fake gold. I bust out laughing. I was like, never have truer words been spoken. But because of women's dopamine addicted brain, because of your doom scrolling, because of your Instagram addiction and your attention addiction, you can't determine real gold from fool's gold. That's the problem. But the reason why I am able to cut a man off in 3 weeks is because my brain is not addicted to dopamine. I get oxytocin. I get serotonin. See, I'm full of the other hormones, and I'm like, this ain't real. This ain't real. And that's what I'm trying to teach you all, sweethearts. I'm actually trying to teach you how to improve your level of discernment. I'm actually trying to reconnect you, my darlings, to your intuition, because it doesn't exist anymore. You are racing around and trying to be all things to all people. You are deeply in the dopamine spiral. It's no wonder why any old man can come along and tell you any old thing and you believe it's real. It's not hard. It is not hard. Okay? So, yeah, no. You just broke down why I like helping people. Yeah. It actually gives you meaning and purpose. It's real. It's like, yeah, this is a part of why I exist. To solve problems, to do things for people. Yeah. And I tell women, yeah, we can actually take advantage of that. Why don't you like TikTok? I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I've had suspicions. So ever since I knew that it was a vehicle to gaining everyone's like information and all, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm good. And all that information is leaving the country, going to some other country. Nah, I'm good. Nope. And it's highly addictive. That has, there's studies being done on it right now, how highly addictive, even more than Instagram and definitely more than Facebook. The fawning was adorable, and the future faker tiny home village is hilarious. Yeah, because look, as soon as I tell people, oh, I'm building a tiny home village, that's their first inroad. All I have to do is go onto Instagram and send Anita a bunch of Instagram tiny home villages, and they really think that that's their inroads. Yeah, let me tell Anita that I want to be a part of this. Let me tell Anita that, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do that too. Yeah, right. Okay. Most people cannot live in 400 square feet. Most people are not going to do that. This is good. Detoxing dopamine addicted brain. Your notes, keep writing, discernment and natural hormones from nature. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good day. So yeah. Just understand the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom or discernment. Yeah. And humility. We all need a great big dose of humility. I am made in the image of God, but I am not God. That's what humility states. That I have a lot of wonderful traits and powers and different things and gifts. I'm not God. I'm not all things to all people. Humility. We all need a deep dose of humility. Okay? All right. Have a great day. After you finish watching this, I want you to put your phone down. Because that's what a lot of y'all are thinking. Well, Anita, I'm watching your video. But look, that's why a lot of my video is long form content. I am going to make some short form content this week, but most of my content is long form content. The people who rock with me. That's how I know the difference. If you stay here for 45 minutes and listen to me talk, you're my people. But if you click off after 30, 60 seconds, you ain't my people. You are dopamine addicted. So that's how I know my people. Have a great day. Put your phone down after this. You done for at least an hour or two. You got your daily dose of wisdom. Go out there and look, I'll be in my garden today. I got to cut the back grass and throw out some grass seed. That's what I'm doing today is throw out some grass seed. I got to cut the grass real low, throw some grass seed out to some of these bald spots. Then I got to spray it with that liquid weed and feed crap. I'll be outside. I'll be putting nuts out. I'm having a little bird tower in the back. I'm gonna put my bird tower out back so the squirrels can stop dropping the nuts all over my yard. I'm gonna put their little squirrel tower in the back, and I'll put their stuff out there. But I will be outside now. I'm gonna let y'all know this pollen is killing me. This pollen is like got my nose messed up, got my eyes messed up. So yeah. He said, I just downloaded the Moral Animal ebook. Gonna read it after this. Please do. It will teach you a lot about humans and human nature and evolutionary psychology. That thing got my mind blown wide open. Wide open. What's the name of the book again? It's called The Moral Animal. And I don't know the author. I'd have to click off of this to tell you the author, but it's called The Moral Animal. It's all about evolutionary psychology and humans and how we work. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay open to love.